Hey friends, it's T-Mon. We're back with another Blaha video. We're going to react to this video as well. He just posted. So yeah, we're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slaves video. Blaha says worrying about pesticides in food while willing consuming alcohol. Yeah, okay. Doesn't really matter. Plants are poisonous to humans. Something unnatural that humans are not meant to eat is considered poison. You're poisoning yourself. Alcohol is made from plants. That's poison. The pesticides that they spray on these plants are made from plants. See? See the difference?
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about kind of the problem of people who worry about pesticides in their food while still drinking alcohol.
Again, does it really matter? The pesticides that are on your foods are made from plants. Where do you think they made pesticides from? Where do you think they came from? The air? Pesticides are made from plants, and then they redistribute them and spray them on plants. Yeah. Alcohol is made from what? Plants. All these chemicals and these drugs are made from plants. So when you consume plants themselves, they're poisonous. Why? Because they have their own pesticides in them. So you're poisoning yourself constantly. You're addicted to degenerating, to poisoning yourself. Yeah. People are addicted to poisoning themselves. See what I mean? They're not addicted to nutrition because they've been brought up that way, to be addicted to deteriorating themselves. The government enjoys that. It's hard to kill a human. They need to get rid of you. They need you to get out of here. That's what they need. They need you to degenerate and die so they can take your pension. They don't want to pay pensions or anything to anybody, right? They don't want to. Fuck. They want you to use you up. They want you to work, use you up like a slave. You dry up and die. That's the whole point. Why would they promote health and you regenerating yourself and being young? What is the purpose? What purpose does that serve? They're always complaining about less of a young generation and more older generation. The younger generation now has to support the older generation because what? Because they're living longer, and then there's not enough young people to old people to support them. So what do they have to do? They have to come up with this thing, say there's a pandemic in the world, and then they start injecting people with it, and they figure, okay, we'll inject everybody. You know, some people, the younger people, won't get to that point where they won't die so fast from the injection, but the older people will drop off a lot quicker. Get it? It worked, right? Many people have died taking the what? The COVID-19 shit. Get it? Yeah. They're dead. All these vaccinations, they do their job, getting rid of humans, because humans are resilient from dying. The human body is very strong. It's stubborn. It will do everything in its power to keep you alive. Yeah. Anyway.
Really strange if you really look at that idea objectively.
Yeah.
But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're not following or subscribe, please do so. And if you will be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is one of these health topics that always baffles me, and it's not, I want to be clear.
It baffles him?
Not saying you shouldn't care about pesticides
It baffles him? Okay.
at all. Okay? I'm not.
Well, you don't care about eating the pesticides that are naturally occurring in the plants, so why would people care now all of a sudden that they're spraying plant pesticides onto plants? Why would they care? Don't make any sense.
Saying it's irrelevant. I'm not saying it's not
Because they're airborne?
a topic of social interest. I'm not saying it's not a topic of political interest and health interest. And I'm not saying we should just completely overlook it and ignore it and not care. It's not what I'm saying.
But according to Blaha, it's okay to poison yourself eating plants, fruits and vegetables and plants. They have their own naturally occurring toxins. They have their own pesticides to protect themselves. So according to Blaha, that's okay. But if they spray it, you need to be worried because they sprayed plant pesticides, which are made from plants, onto the plants. on the outside of the plant. See, but he's not worried about the pesticides that are found inside the plants. He's only worried that you should be worried about the pesticides that are sprayed by plants on the exterior of the plants. Yeah, okay, sure.
I'm going to say is
And he's making it with a comparison to alcohol, which is made from what? Plants. Because all drugs are made from plants. And all plants are what? Drugs. Why are they drugs? Because they have naturally occurring pesticides inside them. Yeah.
objectively compared to a lot of other things going on with our food, particularly in the U.S., with certain laws in place that do put restrictions and limits on it, it is further down.
Yeah, the laws and restriction are how much a person can consume without dying right away. See, they don't want you dead right away. I mean, they want you dead eventually. They want you to deteriorate and die and fuck off. Get it, dude? That's what they want. The government, your government wants you to fuck off, okay? Basically. But a lot of people, they don't want to fuck off. So they try to do something naturally. But then the slaves will try to convince them what you're doing is unnatural. They'll laugh at you. If you tell them, I'm eating my raw natural diet, and you know that that's the healthy, optimal diet, well, they'll laugh at you and go, ew, and don't eat that. That's horrible and everything. They'll make faces and cringe and everything at you, and then they'll try to make you feel bad and try to get you to come along with them. To deteriorate, it's a group thing, get it? We'll all deteriorate together. A group thing. Let's poison ourselves together. Oh, you're not drinking? You want a drink? Here, you want a beer? Oh, you're not drinking a beer? Why aren't you drinking? Right? Get it? Why aren't you drinking? You should be drinking too. You should be destroying yourself like us, like the rest of us slaves. Yeah. Some of us slaves, we don't want to destroy ourselves, maybe. Hello? Maybe we don't want to degenerate. You understand? Like the rest of the people out there.
The chain of worries compared to some other major topics. Keeping in mind, that doesn't mean it's irrelevant. Oh, that's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is, it's a case of, you guys are familiar with the term stepping over dollars to pick up dimes? That's where it falls under. And I think the biggest one, ridiculously bigger, is the entire alcohol discussion. And the reason I say that is because we can argue about different health effects, but our concern with pesticides are generally, well, it's a poison. Right? That's pretty much at the top of the list. We're not worried that
There you go. He just admitted it. He said pesticides are a poison. So the pesticides naturally found in plants are what? Poison. You want to look it up, man? You don't believe me? So you are poisoning yourself. If you're poisoning yourself, you're what? Degenerating. It's not regenerative. Get it? You're degenerating faster than your body could regenerate. Yeah. Now, what regenerates human bodies? Protein. But not just any protein. Naturally occurring raw animal protein regenerates human bodies. So in science, when they say protein synthesis needs to outpace protein breakdown, what they're telling you, that protein, they're not talking about cooked protein, you cooking it and eating the broken DNA and trying to create something out of it. What they're telling you is that, here's the thing. If you keep eating that protein where you've destroyed it and you're accumulating these broken fragments, these fragmented broken DNA, then guess what? That contributes to the degeneration of you, the human body. That's why I say it takes a long time for a human body to appear degenerated. Eventually it will, and people will say, well, they'll make up excuses and say, well, I'm 70 years old, or I'm 80 years old, or I'm 90 years old. Yeah, you're 90 years old, but guess what? That's a number. That's just, you're measuring time. It doesn't exist in nature. Look, man, people, numbers and age doesn't exist in nature. There isn't any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's a schedule. That's a slave schedule. In nature, that doesn't exist. It's just one long day. You go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, you wake up. There isn't any tomorrow, the next day, whatever. Yeah, there is tomorrow, next day, but there isn't any Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You understand me? There isn't any of these things, or a monthly calendar. That's something that is kept by slaves. All slaves keep these things. You're a slave to your calendar, to your days. You're a slave to your job, your hours. You're a slave to your money. These are artificial things created by humans. That isn't nature. Hello?
Pesticides are causing insulin resistance, right? We're not worried that you're going to.
Pesticides are causing insulin resistance. Okay, so if these plants have naturally occurring pesticides inside, they're causing what? Insulin resistance. But Blaha will argue otherwise. It's healthy for you, even if it is anti-nutrient. He never tells you what these anti-nutrients are. He'll say anti-nutrient, but he'll never tell you what they are. What are they? The toxins that are naturally occurring in plants. That's the anti-nutrients.
Get diabetes from them. Okay, we're not worried that they're going to make you fat.
Here, I have a question. Is alcohol an anti-nutrient? It's made from plants, right? Is it an anti-nutrient, alcohol? Yeah, it's an anti-nutrient. Get it? Yeah, dude.
Okay, because I can assure you being poisoned does not make people fat. If anything, they lose weight.
That's a lie. He says being poisoned, I can assure you, he can assure you that being poisoned doesn't make you fat. That's not true. You're being poisoned and you're getting fat. You're eating carbohydrates. What are these carbohydrates made from? Plants. They're made from seeds. Seeds are highly what? They've got cyanide in them. They have toxins in them, right? They have pesticides in them, naturally occurring pesticides. And then guess what? You're consuming them. They're making you fat. He is going to assure you that eating these highly poisonous plants are not going to make you fat. How can he assure you that? Because everybody's getting fat.
This is definitely not a concern, right?
See, this is mental illness. This guy jumping on a box. This is mental illness. You understand me? Addiction.
It's because it's a poison.
It's because it's a poison. Get it? It's a poison. This is poison too, what he's doing here. Look at him.
It's literally a poison. They're pesticides. They exist for the purpose of killing insects.
for killing insects. It's a poison for killing insects. Listen to what he just told you. It's a poison for killing insects. Okay, so the pesticides that are found naturally occurring in plants, they're poisons for killing what? Insects. Get it? Now, how does it affect humans, though? He says it's for insects. Okay, but what happens when you consume it?
Okay. And they're then also potential carcinogens.
Oh, and they're potential carcinogens. But here's the thing. You know, in the past, you know how they fucked up these ranchers? These people would come around with sacks of apples, and they throw these apples over the fence, and the cows would eat the apples, and then they found the cows were dead. And they would be like, why are all our cows dead? Because they threw fruit like apples over the fence, knowing that if cows ate apples, they would die from the apples. Get it? But here's the question. What exactly from the apple killed the cows? Well, the seeds. See, because what happened was this. When they ate the apples, the seeds, they would grind them in their teeth because they grind their food. They have a propensity to grind food. So they'll grind anything because that's how they eat grass. They have to grind it in their teeth. They're ruminant animals. And so they would grind these apples and grind the seeds that were inside these fruits. When they grounded the seeds poisoned them with cyanide. And then these animals died. Get it?
Okay, see where we're going with this? They're unavoidable.
See where we're going with this? They're unavoidable, yes.
We literally cannot feed the population without pesticides. We cannot grow enough crops. There is no.
We cannot grow enough crops. It's impossible to feed the population. They don't have to eat crops though. They shouldn't be eating crops. They should be eating their natural food, like we've been doing for centuries. And there's still people out there still eating just meat products. They don't eat these plants, which are poisonous. But your government wants to push it even more because they're like, you're just not fucking dying. So we need to bring out a new thing called veganism. If we could push veganism, we can completely destroy the human race. Of course, it's illegal to feed your kids, put your kids on a vegan diet. They because why? Because they want them to grow up because they're the workforce. So they want to at least have them eat some meat, but they want to propagandize it so that you're, as an adult, you become a vegan because you'll deteriorate a lot quicker and die a lot faster. It's a kind of obvious. You'll die a lot faster on a vegan diet because everybody's dying on vegan diets. That's why when they say they're about to die, I felt like I was going to die. What do? They revert to carnivore diet. The carnivore diet, they have to downplay your natural healthy diet because they don't need a healthy population, they don't need an older healthy population that's retired. They need a dead population because they don't want to support you, duh.
Way, even when we've tried to GMO our way around it, we can't. We just can't do it. Our population is way too big to feed the population without some type of.
Exactly. That's why they're reducing it by poisoning you, getting rid of you. See what I mean? But he's lying. We have enough food to feed the population and some. We make enough. They grow enough of these stupid ass shitty crops to enough to poison you completely from here to high heaven. So he's lying. And they have plenty of meat products in the stores. If people were to stop eating plants and eating raw animal products right now, they would not starve. There would still be enough. There'd still be enough. And there's even processed meats. You have processed section and then you have natural. There's enough there. Because why? Because it's highly nutritious. So you wouldn't be consuming as much as you would plants because plants are not based on nutrients. Human cells only want nutrients. It doesn't want plants. So when you consume plants, you're starving. Nitrogen balance is negative. So you have to keep consuming more and more and more because you're starving. And if you're starving, you're degenerating faster than you're regenerating. Get it?
Pesticides. So really the argument becomes, do we look at different types, organic ones, unorganic ones? We get into a lot of nuance trying to find ways to have harm mitigation, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, we understand you're still putting a potentially very mild, but still a poison is getting into food supplies, getting into water supplies or something. Okay, yeah. So we're always looking for harm mitigation, but we cannot avoid it. Right? We need to be clear on that, which is kind of the problem when people obsess over it. It's like, you're not going to get, since I understand when people say, well, I don't want to consume a poison. Totally get it. And they're like, well, I want to minimize it. The problem is,
I totally get it. You don't want to consume a poison, but you are consuming poison. I get it. Get it? You're consuming it because it's internal as well.
it's very difficult for you to do that with it. And I'm not saying you can't.
It's not difficult to do that because Blaha has already, he's already admitted to it. Anti-nutrients. What are anti-nutrients? The toxins. The natural pesticides that are found in plants are anti-nutrient. Duh.
Again, I'm not saying you can't, but you're not going to be, it is an unavoidable poison. However, alcohol is a poison, right?
There you go. It's an unavoidable poison. Alcohol is a poison. Plants are what? Poison. Get it? They're poisonous to who? Humans. But it's on a small scale. It's on a low scale. But it can be extremely poisonous depending on what you're consuming, what seeds, what kind of seeds, how much you're consuming can be very toxic, very poisonous to the point where you die. Yeah.
Not hypothetical, not figurative, not metaphorically, biologically speaking. Biologically, scientifically, chemically speaking, by the definition of a poison, alcohol is a poison to humans. Okay? That's not.
And so are plants. They're poisonous to humans because they have naturally occurring pesticides. They're anti-nutrient. Get it?
Not hyperbole. It is literally, from a biological definition, a poison to our bodies. That is why our liver has to detoxify it so that it literally doesn't kill you. If your liver didn't process it, one drink would kill you. You would.
Your liver is not meant to detox you from, man, eating so much poison. Christ, why do you think you get a fatty liver? Because it's full of sugar. That's poison too. Sugar's poisonous to humans.
Be dead from one shot of vodka. So everybody understands this.
Salt is poisonous to humans as well. It's even poisonous to marine life. They don't drink salt water. Get it? Yeah. They get their moisture from eating other fish. They don't consume salt water. These saltwater mammals. Get it, dude? Or they would die. Because salt kills you.
Right? If your liver did not detoxify it, it would poison you to death. Okay. Same thing. It's the single most carcinogenic thing that we consume. Okay? People understand that. That's been pretty well proven in the data. One drink a month is enough to cause cancer in some people. Directly cause it in some people.
Yeah. One drink is enough to cause cancer in people or whatever he's talking about. So are these plants. They're toxic. They're poisonous. They have pesticides inside them. They're enough to kill you. Get it? Give you cancer.
It boosts 7 types of cancers. There's a study that found that.
Yeah.
Multiple studies determined that. One
So are
drink a
the
month.
plants.
And then it scales with intake, right? It is extremely carcinogenic.
Yeah.
So all the
So are plants. They're highly carcinogenic because they have their own pesticides. They're called tannins, lectins. They're called oxalates. They're highly toxic.
concerns that we have with the pesticides are present in alcohol, but here's the thing. Keeping in mind a very
The pesticides are highly found in alcohol because plants have their own naturally occurring fucking pesticides and they're found in alcohol. Sure.
small amount of alcohol will surpass what you can get from pesticides. And that's what people are missing who are worried about the pesticides. I'm not saying not to be worried, but if you're worried about pesticides, why would you drink an alcoholic drink that literally has a higher toxic load than any amount of pesticides you're possibly going to get on your, like, even if you said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go find the foods in the U.S. that have larger amounts of pesticides, I'm going to intentionally seek them out and eat those every day. Amounts of pesticides, I'm going to intentionally seek them out and eat those every day.
Yeah. Like almonds. Blaha drinks almond milk. Guess what? He's seeking out highly toxic plants and seeds. So these seeds are highly toxic. So the more if you consume them in high dosages, they're more toxic, more cyanide poisoning you get. Yeah. And then the more he looks degenerated. Get it?
Having one beer or one shot of whiskey a week or a glass of wine is going to have a considerably higher poisonous load, toxic load on your body and carcinogenic load than any of the pesticides they're legally putting in your food at this point. Does it mean they're harmless? No. But you are picking an optional poison. So if a person says, hey, I'm going to be worried about these that I can't fully avoid, and obsess and harp over them and want more laws written, but then you're drinking alcohol while you're going, oh, I don't want to consume a poison. You're literally drinking a poison. That is...
You're literally drinking a poison. No, really? You don't say.
Actually worse than the pesticides you're worried about. It's literally more poisonous.
No, it's not, because he just said the pesticides are found in the alcohol. He says it's worse than the pesticides you're eating. No, absolutely not. It's exactly the same. You're eating pesticides all day. You're poisoning yourself all day.
And you don't have to. You can't fully avoid the pesticides. You can avoid alcohol.
Look at this. Look at this. You could avoid alcohol. You could avoid it, but your diets are based on addiction. Get it? And you are addicted to eating poison all day. You like it. You enjoy destroying yourself. Humans love seeing if they could die destroying themselves. Their body, they're addicted to it because the body is highly resistant from being destroyed. So you're like, you know what? Let me see if I can destroy it faster than the last time. So you're like, I'm going to eat these highly addictive, poisonous diets. And you want to keep poisoning your body. And then you look in the mirror and then you go, fuck, it hasn't completely deteriorated. It hasn't completely died yet. And you're like, I have to fucking destroy myself completely. You can be addicted to destructive things, like to destroy yourself. You are addicted to destroying yourself, body destruction. See, what we call this, we don't call this bodybuilding. We call this body destruction, what Blaha is doing here. What Blaha is doing is body destruction. The foods he eats and the exercises in the garage. That's considered body destruction. He's trying to see how far he could push it before his body self-destructs. Get it? Lots of people do this. Lots of people are like that. They're not based on regenerating their bodies. They're based on destroying their bodies and destroying themselves. Get it?
If you can't, then you're what we call an alcoholic. You need to go to a program.
Yeah, you're what we call alcoholic. You need to go to a program. So people that are addicted, eating these highly addictive foods, what are they called exactly? What are they called? Omnivores. Hey, they wanna label themselves. They call them omnivores. What is Blaha addicted to? He's addicted to body destruction. Do they have a program for that? What's the program for people that want to destroy themselves? Working. They want to work themselves to death. Exercise themselves to death. What is that? Was there a program for that? No. Maybe they should open a program for that. I don't know. Maybe they have one already. I have no idea. You understand me? Yeah. But they call that a gym membership. Get it? They call it gym membership. Body destruction, gym membership. Yeah, man. You understand? For people, come on.
You're an alcoholic if you can't avoid it. So that's a whole nother topic. It's a completely optional poison you are choosing to put in your body. And yet people will have no trouble.
What do you think he's creating here by lifting these weights? What is it causing his body? Stress. What does stress do? What kind of chemical reaction does it do to your body? It increases cortisol, right? So what does it do? It puts you in a catabolic state, right? Now, if you're eating what Blaha eats, the highly addictive slave food diet, what does that do to you? Well, how does that affect you? Well, that increases what? Degeneration. Get it? So that increases it. So if this increases you degenerating your body, deteriorating your body, exercising, and now you're eating a diet that is highly degenerative, right? You've got a great combination. Get it? You're gonna keep degenerating. You're gonna keep deteriorating faster than you're regenerating. Get it, dude?
Doing it, and they'll say, well, I don't have that much of it. Okay, but it's way, 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 way more than what you could get from the pesticides. So you see what I mean? This is a case of people stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. Literally going to worry about the trace amount of poison.
That's why these gym bros like Blaha, they're jealous. You have people like me that I'll come in once a week, right? And then I'll focus on regenerating my body. So I will come in, I'll damage my body. I'll get a relative amount of micro damage to my muscles on the day. And then I'll spend the rest of the week regenerating my body. But the people that come in the gym, they come in 6 days a week. And then they're degenerating their body. They're never regenerating. They go into degenerate. Get it? And then they take a rest day. And then they see me come in. I just work out on the rest day. I work out on their rest day. That's when I work out. And then when they work out, I'm regenerating down at the buffet. Get it, bro?
You can't 100% get away from, and you can't survive without eating the food. You're going to die without it. But then
You're gonna die without it. You can't survive without the food. You can survive without poisoning yourself every day eating plants. Yes, you can survive. You will survive. But if you eat those poisonous plants, I guarantee you will not survive very long. Eventually, you'll die.
to then just willingly say, okay, I'm worried about this, but I'll just willingly just drink another poison. I'll just drink it. I don't have to have it.
No intelligent person on this planet, an intelligent person, when they discover the truth, no intelligent person would continue in this behavior, cooking their meat and cooking their food, right? Processing their food and eating poisonous plants and drinking poisonous drinks like alcohol. No normal human being would do that. Only an abnormal, mentally retarded human being would fucking continue in that behavior. Get it?
No requirement for survival, completely optional. I have every opportunity to avoid it and to just consciously consume it. Well, my point is, don't pretend that you care about poison. That would be the point I would make. Like, are we really going to have this conversation? Just stop. You're being silly. Okay? You're more than happy to put poison in your body. Don't pretend like you care. And the thing...
See, you're more than willing to put poison in your body. You've been conditioned from a child to put poison in your body, to poison you from a small child. Get it? And so it's hard to break the conditioning. But once you discover the truth, you should stop. Now, it's not your fault if you don't know it. Blaha knows the truth, but he continues in that behavior. So he's only to blame for his indiscretions.
Yes, and I think for a lot of people, they haven't thought about it that way. They've never said, oh, wait, I'm over here worried about this poison that I really can't fully escape from, but it's in pretty small amounts. But I'm just willingly just walking over to the store and buying a direct poison that I don't have.
It's just in small amounts. I'm going to the store eating poison. Chocolate is poisonous to humans. Chocolate, seeds, beans, lectins, whatever. These fucking fruits, vegetables, they're poisonous to humans, but they're consuming it all the time. Get it, dude?
To have and just drinking it because I get a buzz. Because it's a poison to my brain cells, and therefore I get a euphoria from the poisoning of my brain cells.
See, he gets a euphoria from the poisoning in his brain cells. So when Blaha eats these so-called plants that he keeps promoting, the anti-nutrients, when the anti-nutrients, the poisons hit his brain, he gets a euphoria. He enjoys it. It's an addiction to deteriorate himself. You understand me? It's become an addiction to see how long he could survive deteriorating himself. When will he die, today or tomorrow? He's gambling how long he can keep up this deterioration before he dies. Some people will run off numbers and say, hey, I look at me, I made it to 75. Yeah, but look at them. They look in the mirror and they are completely deteriorated at 75. They no longer look like they did when they were 30. Get it, man? You understand me, people? Look at Blaha. He's so deteriorated. He has no hair. Where's his hair? You people can you really sit there and ponder that, man, for a moment? Me personally, I look young. I'm getting better. That my whole thing is to regenerate. When I was younger, I never truly understood bodybuilding when I was younger. I didn't know it was based on regeneration. I didn't even know I was regenerating myself. Maybe that's why I was so young. I remember I had a girlfriend, this woman I was with at the time. I was 34 years old. She was 34, the same age as me. She asked me for my ID. Can you imagine that? Look, I moved to Mexico. I was living there for a while. And so I was 34 years old. I was dating this woman. you know. And she asked me for my ID because she says, I don't believe that you're 34 years old. Why? Because at the time, in my late 90s to about the early 30s, I started regenerating my body because that's how you build muscles. You regenerate muscles. So it's based on regeneration. So I ate a lot of protein. I was in a positive nitrogen balance. So I was actually regenerating faster than I was deteriorating, which I didn't realize at the time. It didn't ponder, that never pondered in my mind because I didn't read anything in science at that time. There was no internet. There wasn't a lot of scientific literature out there. You have to go to a library and look for it, but you didn't really know what to look for. And so, like I said, I fluked it. That's all. I went off my senses. These damaging effects that I got in the gym when I worked out once a week, I got this DOMS, and then, I started eating a lot because I thought, okay, I have to eat a lot of protein to build muscle, and I have to consume a lot. That's how fat people get fat. They consume a lot. So fat people eat bad food, poisonous, toxic food to get fat because they're starving. And when they're starving, they get fat. Okay, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to eat a lot of protein. I'm going to eat a lot of animal products, and then I'm going to regenerate my muscles. And so that made me younger. And so when she asked me for my ID, I was like, okay, 34. I did. I looked really young at the time, in my 20s, my early 20s still, even though I was 34. And it lasted for quite a long time. I remember because I posted pictures of what I looked like. People were surprised. Yeah, but then when I got into my 40s, and because I stopped like completely this exercise stuff for years, and even my consumption, when I moved back to my city, I started consuming plants, which I didn't realize were toxic. They were poisonous, and they were degenerating me very quickly, actually. I didn't realize that at the time. And then I just kept doing that. Plus, I was working and doing a bunch of stuff, and it was degenerating me. But now I'm more focused on regeneration than degenerating myself like blah. I'm doing the opposite because I'm at that age where I don't want to degenerate. But blah wants to seemingly keep degenerating.
Yeah. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that.
Yeah, that's all I have to say on that, too. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Ciao.